Good day, everybody. Hope you're doing awesome. We'll get started in a very short time. So gather your things. Have a block, actually 2 blocks, and a blanket, and that's about it. Actually, have your belt or strap today too. Hey, Christine. Awesome, and Suzanne's there too. That's fun. You guys get to do the yoga together. So we'll start out with our blocks. Now, if you don't have 2 blocks at home, you could instead use a bolster or a long pillow. We're going to use these just for a couple minutes to help open the chest and get some nice support for the upper back. So one block is going to go as high as it'll go. You could place it lengthwise. And then the other block is going to go, well, it's lengthwise as well, but it's on the medium setting, so it goes a little longer. So the one that's just closer to you is for your upper back, and this one is for your head. So facing away from the blocks, there is space between your hips and that lower block. Use your hands to help you, and you want to find a little bit of an arch in your back so it's a little easier to lower down. Use the support of your elbows so you can get that placement just right. That first block between shoulder blades, second block below the skull. And you can kind of hook the back of your skull, that occipital bone, onto the upper or the higher block, so you can feel that gentle action of traction through the cervical spine. Allowing your arms to just relax by the sides. Knees are staying bent with feet on the mat to start. And notice if there are any final little spaces that you need to adjust, but then really settle in. Allow the breath to move slowly in and out of the nose. And very simply just tune in to the support that's behind your heart. And breathe a little deeper without strain, just aiming to create more inner space. Feel that nice bit of stretching that's starting to open up through the sides of the body. Maybe you feel it around your ribs. Maybe you feel it in your obliques. Maybe you feel stretched out through the core. That space between navel and sternum. And gently, we'll just adjust through the legs and the feet. So draw the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to open wide. Breathe deep. Notice your breathing. If there are any areas that feel a little bit sticky, or see how clear the sinuses feel. Just notice and do your best again to connect to the inner space you're creating. Draw the knees towards one another and slowly inch your feet as wide as your mat so your knees fall into each other. Hands reach up to the ceiling. So just straight up, but keep the shoulder blades nice and neutral so we're not caving in through the chest. We're just allowing the arms to sit kind of neutral as the fingers reach to ceiling. And then just move slow. Start to reach the hands towards the wall behind you. Maybe the thumbs touch down to the mat, but that might feel a bit too far. So if that's the case, simply allow the arms and the hands to hover. But don't aim to touch the ground. It doesn't really matter if you get there or not. One side might be able to touch down and the other one can't. That's okay. See what's up and do your best to create balance as you breathe and stretch. Reach the fingers a little further away. Notice that beautifully long spine, and then slowly inhale to start bringing your fingers to face back up to ceiling. And then exhale, let the elbows come down to the mat just outside the hips. Palms could be down or fingers could face up, whatever's easier for you. But start to arch the back. Let the knees come apart about hip distance. Lengthen one leg forwards, lean to that side, and slowly press yourself up. Eventually bend that lengthened leg and we'll just relax over the thighs. Breathe in, breathe out. And then sitting up, just walk the right hand slightly beside and out to the back of the right hip and left hand onto the outer right knee. Just a super gentle twist. Breathe in, breathe out. And then we'll come back to center, right hand onto the outer left knee. Left hand is just behind and outside the left hip. And then slowly we'll come back to center. Relax forwards over the thighs, breathing in and out. Beautiful. Roll all the way up to a seat. Just slowly set your blocks aside. Make sure your blanket is handy. And sweep the feet around and underneath you so you're seated on the shins. Palms are on the thighs. Tall spine, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Hands slide to grab onto your knees if you can, and round your back. So really hollow out through the front of the body. Start to activate through your pelvic floor and your navel. So Uddiyana Bandha, so drawing those two spaces together. But still continue to breathe. Just feel that round getting even greater and greater as your awareness to that pelvic floor and navel region start to come together. So it's like pelvic floor is trying to lift to the space behind the belly button, and then the space between your belly button and your pelvic floor is pulling into your spine. Really utilize the exhales to hollow out a little bit more. And then slowly, next breath in, crawl your hands forwards, forearms come down to the mat, hips off the heels, walk the knees back. So we're in a table but with our forearms on the ground. We tuck the toes from here. Your palms can be flat down in front of the elbows, or you can have your palms in prayer or interlaced fingers if that feels more comfortable for you. Knees and hips lift up, dolphin pose. So while we're in this position, let's practice looking between the elbows. And as we look between the elbows, press your index fingers down and your big toes down as you lift your bum up. So a little length in the legs. And then ground down through your thumb knuckle and your pinky finger knuckle. You're still keeping the index one down. Feel your belly pull in and feel your pelvic floor lift up. And hold there. So the palms are fully rooted, the hips are lifting, there's a nice little bit of core work going in, and we step the toes 2 inches closer in towards your face. And start the whole process again. Index finger knuckles push down, big toes push down, hips lift up higher. Breathe. Thumb knuckles press down, pinky knuckles press down. Belly pulls in, pelvic floor lifts. You'll feel a little more height in the spine. And from here, feel the elbows push down as the hips get higher. The heels are away from the mat. Smooth, steady breath, but find the bit of challenge for the upper back and shoulders. Still keep pressure into elbows and palms. Looking between elbows, you've got this, we're almost there. Breathe in, breathe out. Where can you create more space? In your body, in your mind, in your breath. And then when you're ready, slowly lower your knees down. Untuck the toes, sit back to seated on your shins. Gentle twist to the right, left hand to the outer right knee. Right fingers are just behind. Breathe in, breathe out. And then slowly let's go to the other side. Right hand outside left knee, left hand just behind. Beautiful. Come back to center. So we'll want to be at about the middle of the mat for this, and tuck your toes. So hips are onto the heels. Now we'll be using our hands to assist us here quite a bit. So make it as easy for yourself as possible. Okay. So from here, just bring the hands to the mat, just outside your knees, and lift your knees up. And then we're going to start walking the hands back, but you might want to just do one at a time. Go slow, especially if it's your first time. Eventually, one hand will walk back, the fingers point behind, and then the opposite one comes back. Walk the feet forwards, lift the hips up. Reverse table, breathing in and breathing out. Let the hips start to lower. The feet might need to come closer, and then one hand reaches forwards and we come back forwards. Let's keep the knees lifted, but walk the hands forwards into a table with knees hovering. Yeah, breathing in. And then breathing out, we'll walk the hands back, hips back over the heels, and then come back to the reverse table. So maybe reach the opposite hand back first. See what's up. Lift the hips as you adjust those feet. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep the head neutral without dropping it back, and then let the hips drop down when you're ready. Walk your hands in, and then bring the hands forwards. Again, keep the knees lifted as you walk into table with knees hovering. And then we'll do one more. So walk back, back, back. Reach the hands back. Adjust. Lift those hips, open the chest. Feel the fingers press down. Feel the palms press down. Feel your heels drag towards you without moving, so your glutes engage, your hips lift, your chest is open. Breathe. Press into your hands, open your heart. And then gently, when you're ready, let those hips start to come down. Walk the hands in. Walk the hands forwards. This time we're walking the feet back, downward dog. So hips lift up as we walk those feet back. And breathe. Press into those hands. Think of your triceps wrapping inwards to your face. You'll really feel things fire up in the upper arms. Feel your hips move even further away from your skull. Engage your quadriceps and allow your heels to come closer to the ground. If your heels feel really far away, that's okay, but step the toes closer into your face so your belly and your thighs touch. And lift your hips from there. And then practice engaging through quads, and maybe one day the heels will find the ground. But they don't have to. Another breath in and out. Really work that muscular action. Step the big toes to touch. Maintain stability in the shoulders. Right toes reach up and back. Right knee bends. Keep the stability in the shoulders. Open right hip, stack it on left. Hold. Just think of your right knee reaching away from you as you keep those shoulders nice and steady. Good. Slowly close down the right hip, let those toes come down. Left foot reaches up, keep the squeeze of the arms, stability across chest and shoulders, bend left knee, open and stack left hip on right. Good, check in with yourself, make sure the chest and shoulders are still neutral. Squeeze those arms. This is a real nice therapeutic style slow flow, but we're going deep today. And then when you're ready, neutral hips, left toes come down, look to your hands, lower your knees down, untuck the toes, sit on your shins. Ooh, and just pause here for a moment. Allow all that heat to move through the upper body. Beautiful. From here, come back forwards table, and then we'll bring our right foot forwards between the hands. And the left knee can walk back a little bit in a lunge. So you might want your blanket under your left knee because we'll be keeping it on the ground for, long enough. Long enough that if it's uncomfortable now, it'll be uncomfortable after. So pausing here, breathe in, breathe out. Let your hips start to find that action of sinking, but without disconnecting. So how do we check in with that? Lift your hips up, pull your pelvic floor in, and then slowly let the hips come back down. So maintaining inner connections, lengthening, strengthening, without just kind of dumping the weight down. Beautiful. So now from here, see if your left knee will walk back just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit. Give yourself a little bit more space. Enjoy that edge. Find a little lift of your hips again, and then sink them back down. Yeah, so really offering opportunity to open through the low back space, and of course, the hip flexors too. Now from here, optional of course, but you could stay right here, or you could bend the left knee. So drawing the left heel towards the bum. See how that feels? Maybe you can plant your left palm on the mat and reach the right hand up to ceiling and around for your left ankle. Open the chest. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your right toes might want to go a little bit wider, but keep the sole of the foot on the ground if you can. Beautiful. Gently release the left foot down. Bring the right hand back to the mat. Now from here, we want to transition into our pigeon pose. So the right foot is going to heel toe over to the left side. Use the support of your hands and your core so your right knee can open to the right and you can sink in to your hips. Now, if there's any discomfort on your right knee, bring your heel closer into you, or you could do reclined pigeon instead. Okay? Now from here, squeeze everything in and just let your hands come off the mat. They don't have to lift up or anything, just find the squeeze first. And then if you can, look straight up to the ceiling and reach your hands straight up, and then maybe reach your fingers slightly back. And then slowly come back up, hands onto the mat. Gently from here, bend into your left knee so your right knee can peel off the mat, and then you can heel toe that foot back over to the right. Let's bring that right knee back and down. Take a little child's pose just for a sec, hips to the heels. And then come back up, and let's place the left foot forwards between the hands. Right knee walks back to that edge that works for you. Then we settle in. Breathe. Find that little lift of the hips, and then let them sink. Awesome. Find a little more space. Maybe your right knee can walk back just a smidge more. Find that little lift of the hips. And then let the hips sink again. Breath is in and out of the nose. Right palm comes down to the mat. Right knee bends. Maybe left hand reaches back for that right ankle. And again, you may need to take your left foot a little bit wider, but do your best to keep that sole nice and rooted, toes pointing forwards. And then nice and slow, release that back leg. Fingers come back, or left hand comes back forwards and down. And then gently lift your hips enough so it feels easier for you to heel toe the left foot over to the right wrist. And then gently let that knee open up. So let the heel wiggle in as much as you need. Adjust, adjust. Walk the right knee back when you're ready. And find that place again. We want a relative amount of ease here. Definitely no pain on the knees. Okay? Once you feel set up, squeeze. Let your hands maybe lift off the mat and just see how that feels. Keep the squeeze optional. Hands reach up. And maybe hands reach back. And then slowly back forwards, fingers to the mat. Walk your right knee in enough so it's easy to peel your left knee up, heel toe the foot over to the left, and then left knee back. Child's pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Awesome. Inhale back to table. Exhale, right foot forwards lunge. Now, we're keeping the left knee down, but keep it close into you this time. So the right or left knee is directly below left hip. Toes stay tucked. Right knee above right ankle. Upper body floats up. Beautiful. Breathing in. Breathing out. Left hand to the outer right knee. Right hand reaches behind. Breathe in and out here. Notice the stability between your feet. And then maybe right hand comes to the left heel, left hand reaches back. The right hand could always come to the back of the right hip as well. Or back of left hip, I should say. Another inhale and exhale. And then slowly come back up. And let's sweep both hands forwards and down. Lift your left knee up, walk your right foot back, downward dog. Breathe in and out. Enjoy that space through the thoracic spine. Lower your knees, table. Core in, so feel the scoop of the belly. Left foot comes forwards between the hands. Knee above ankle on left side, knee below hip on right side. Right toes are tucked, upper body comes up. Just pause. Find your balance. Start a gentle twist, right hand outside that left knee, right hand maybe to the low back or to the back of the right hip. If available, left hand could reach for right heel, right hand reaches back. Keep the left knee pulling forward so it stays stacked above the ankle. Stabilize, breathe. Inhale, come all the way up when you're ready. Hands forwards and down. Right knee lifts, step back, downward dog. Squeeze your arms. So we'll start to move through a flow, but we're going to take a little bit of extra time in our upward dog section or cobra pose if that's better for you today. So from here, let's come into plank, shifting heart forwards. Nice and strong through the core. Lower down, you could use your knees if you need. Chaturanga, elbows bend, they touch the ribs, pausing, hovering, and then pulling heart forwards and up dog or cobra. And pause for a moment. Lift your sternum. Feel the shoulder blades descend. Breathe. Strong legs. Curl over the toes, downward dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Beautiful. Let's lower the knees down for a moment and sit on the shins. Grab a block. And we'll take it widthwise between the hands. Now, doing your best to just squeeze the palms into the outer sides of the block rather than holding it with your fingers, okay? So then from here, hands forwards, shoulder height. Notice if your back just went wonky at all and core in. And then slow, low, low. Reach the hands up. And notice if you reach up and your shoulders start to shrug, go back down and start again. Keep the shoulders down. So think of squeezing your arms in. And breathe. This can generate quite a bit of heat. Keep squeezing triceps in. Another breath. Maybe you can lift an inch higher. We want to start to feel activation around the ribs, the lungs, the lats, traps, upper arms. Get it all rocking. Nice section of heat building here. Another inhale. And exhale. Slowly let the block come down. Hands come down. Grab your strap. So same idea as we were just using as far as like how much strength we want to integrate. So let's bring the hands as wide as the shoulders. So literally like have your hands in front of your shoulders and then just go a tiny bit wider so that your thumbs are outside the upper arms there. And then from that place, core your belly in again, make sure your spine is long. And let's send the knuckles up to the ceiling. So straight up. Yes. So arms stay as straight as possible. Belly pulls in, spine is long. Now think of, without moving your hands, think of ripping your strap apart and feel the strength of your triceps. If you can close your eyes, you may be able to tap in a little bit deeper to the balance happening in your shoulders and down into your shoulder blades. So if you have a shoulder injury or anything like that, you may need your hands wider as well. But it's a real combination of pushing up with the knuckles, but feeling the shoulder blades come down, and your arms try to move apart from each other, but they can't because they're stuck. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then breathe out nice and easy. Give yourself some slack, soften the muscle engagement. And then open your heart as we drop the strap down behind us. Pause maybe halfway down, wherever your sweet spot is. Maybe take an extra breath or two there. And then continue the journey downwards. Release from one side, bring the strap back around the front, and set it aside. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, back to table pose. Right foot steps forwards. Make sure that you have that blanket under the knee still if you needed it before. Left knee is walking back in a pretty deep lunge. And just hang out here for a sec. And then grab your strap. So this is the trickiest part. Well, maybe not. Right hand just comes inside the right foot. Left knee bends. Sweep your belt back and get it around that ankle. I know it's tricky, right? So once you've got it on there, just hang on to both ends of the strap in one hand, whatever is easiest for you, but we want the hands like back forwards. I have the belt just like over my left shoulder, like I'm wearing a bag. Okay, so this position, we're right here. Balance can start to get pretty tricky, okay? And you may notice like, oh, like I already really don't like this. And that's okay, it happens all the time in yoga. So you can stay here and practice. You may notice like, oh, I have more space. Whatever it is, you're gonna adjust and then practice hanging on to the strap with maybe one hand, maybe two hands, okay? And then just walk your hands back. Keep your balance. It can be tricky. Your elbows could face up and just pause. You don't have to go super deep because it's deep enough as it is. When you're ready, slowly come out. Let the hands come down. Let the back toes come down. It's deep, right? Slide that back knee in until you feel safe enough to bring your front knee back. Might as well switch the strap while we're back here. So just switch out your ankles there. Could have done that the first time. So when you're ready, left foot will come forwards. And then we start that whole game of like, okay, finding our sweet spot, right? So you might need to inch your left foot forwards or your right knee back, whatever, but the left knee will stay over the left ankle. Left hand is inside left foot to make it easier to grab that strap and bend the right knee. And then hang out. So this is balance, this is strength, this is flexibility. It's a lot of stuff. Once you find that place you feel like you can maybe settle into, optional to have both hands reach to ceiling and maybe walk them back on the strap, elbows face ceiling. Be gentle. And when you're ready, slowly come out, release, inch the back knee forwards, bring the front knee back. Set the strap aside, child's pose. Beautiful. Sitting up. Set your blanket aside if you had it under your knees. Make sure you have a decent amount of space here. We're just going to practice an arm balance and put all those beautiful lengthening pieces together. So coming into a tabletop pose. And you can see what works for you here, okay? You don't have to go deep. Let's bring the right knee, we're bringing it up and onto the right tricep. Oh, this is going to be tricky in pants and long sleeves, I tell you. Need some friction here. Okay, so we want to squeeze that right knee into the shoulder. And I'm on my right heel. Now you could stay here, or you could lift the left knee in a lunge. Now from here, maybe we can lower into flying splits. So that means we lower the left hip towards left elbow. That's where maybe the left toes can lift, and maybe the right toes can extend over to the right. Then we breathe in and out. And then come back. Left toes down, right toes down, Back to table. Okay. So we'll try the other side. It's amazing what pathways open up. Yoga is such a beautiful thing. So we're in our table. We're doing that same hugging sensation, now with the left knee onto the left tricep. So when that knee comes forwards, the elbows do have a little bend in them. Okay, we want to feel strong here, and we're going into a more bent position anyway. So we feel that hug, maybe we stay, maybe the right knee lifts and we're in like a deep lunge. Left heel's lifted. If available, we're slowly taking that dive forwards, right hip onto right elbow, right toes float, left toes reach over to the left. Breathe in and out. And then when you're ready, right toes down, left toes down, press back, right knee down, left knee down. Cool. Bum to the heels, and then we'll sweep feet around. So you might want a blanket to sit on for your hips here. Otherwise, get wide in the legs. Make sure your sit bones feel quite neutral here. And your pelvis is neutral as well. So you're not leaning forwards or backwards in your pelvis. Fingertips come to the mat behind you and just sit super tall. Allowing everything to settle in here. Slowly turn your chest to the left, hands either side of your left thigh. Maintain the neutral hips and simply work that rotation of the chest. Breathe. Place your right hand towards your inner left thigh. Now we're working on pressing the right hand into the thigh, and like your right thumb should be right at your left hip crease. Okay, so we're really up nice and tight. Push your right hand into that left leg and start to hinge your upper body over to the right. Left hand floats up and over to right. Toes, maybe, or we simply just reach over. Keep those sit bones nice and rooted. Breathe in, breathe out. So that right hand is helping you keep the left side lifted, and the left hand is helping you stretch from that rooted point. Can you find the space between your ribs? Breathe. Anchor that left sit bone. And then inhale slowly. Left fingertips float up and down. Both hands are forwards, breathing in. Notice the differences between the sides. And slowly turn to the right. Hips are neutral, and we're working on rotating that chest. Check in with yourself. Make sure the entire spine feels aligned and stacked, and that no spot is bulging forwards or backwards. Sit bones are neutral, pelvis neutral. Breathe. Left hand comes to the inner right thigh. Thumb in towards that hip crease nice and tight. Press in, rotating that chest. Gently hinge to the left. Right hand floats up and over to the left. And we breathe here. Notice the spaces that open. Notice where you feel stuck. Press deeper into that left hand. Make space on the right side. Breathe in when you're ready. We'll come all the way up. Beautiful. Pausing, neutral spine. Notice the balance between the sides, and then just gently walk your hands forwards. Maybe your elbows come down. Softening here. And nice and easy, pressing up. Hands to the inner knees. Slowly bend knees, bring the feet in, and just relax over the thighs for a moment. And then we'll sit up. You'll want your blocks close by. You might only use one, you might use two. We'll see. You might even need your blanket accessible, so just make sure it's all easy peasy to grab. So we're neutral with the knees. Sweep the feet over to the left, and then walk your right knee underneath your left knee. Okay, so the knees are stacked. Good. And then both hands face forwards. So square your hands off or get your hands aligned with your shoulders. And then from here, you can come down onto the elbows. And this is where your blocks may come into play, or even just one block. I like to use one as like just a pillow for my head, so it's easier to focus on maintaining balance between the elbows. So see if that works for you. You can keep your head lifted, but it's nice to just be able to relax down. Feel a little bit more pressure towards your left elbow. And then feel it balance out into the right. And maintain the balance between the two. And if it works for you, you could go a stage deeper. You could take your block a bit lower. You could extend the left toes to the bottom edge of your yoga mat. And you could even lower towards the ground with your chest. And just see how that feels. But be kind. We want a lovely little twist here. Breathe fully and completely. And then gently pressing up from where you've gone. If that top leg extended, bend it back. Sit up, come back through center. We'll just sweep the feet over to the right now. Stacking the knees and then revolving the upper body to face more to the left. Palms are in line with the shoulders. And then we stay right here, or if it's available with ease, start lowering down to the elbows. Maybe with support of the block under the forehead. Focus on pushing into the right elbow more. And then allow the weight to balance between the sides and simply hang out here. You may want to extend that top leg. You may want to lower the chest to the ground completely. See what works for you. And then when you're ready from here, just slowly press it up. Bring that top leg in. Come back neutral. Now we will come to lying down on the back. When you're ready, coming all the way down. Shoulder blades get flat underneath. And just hug your arms around yourself. And breathe here. Knees are still bent, head and shoulders float up. We're still hugging. Find the round in the spine. And then relax back down. Release the hands by your sides. Tuck the shoulder blades under. Now, you could, of course, stay lying on your back, but if you would like just a gentle bit of support for your thoracic spine, since we did so much work for it today, you can take your blanket and just roll it so it would be like a little miniature yoga mat rolled up. And then you could lay that widthwise across your mat and then gently lie back down with that support under your shoulder blades, upper back region. Just enough to feel that openness through your chest. Your arms can just relax overhead. So whichever variation of Shavasana you'd like to take today, tap in and settle in. Eyes are closed, breath is in and out of the nose. And think of breathing into the back part of your lungs. Breathe deeper as you scan through your body, softening any spaces that still need it. Sink a little deeper. If you had the blanket supporting your upper back, take a moment to arch your back, but bend your knees first. Arching your back so you can wiggle the blanket either out to the side or whatever is easiest for you. Bring the hips back down. Knees pull into chest. Gentle rock side to side. We're just going to do one more easy twist each side. Left leg extends, right knee stays into chest. And then slowly bring that right knee over and down to the left. You might want to wiggle your hips to the right. Breathe. And then slowly come back to center. We'll just switch it up when you're ready. Neutral hips, left knee comes in. Maybe you want to squiggle hips to the left a bit. Right leg extends, left knee comes down. Back to center when you're ready. And then just roll over to one side. I suggest rolling to the right to tap into that sense of calm a little bit more. But if you need to feel activated, roll to the left. And then press up into a seated position, whatever's comfortable. Palms come into prayer at heart center, just sitting tall. Noticing how you're feeling here. And let's draw a complete breath in of love and gratitude into ourselves. And a full breath out of love and gratitude for everyone else. And thank you for our practice today. Namaste. And I hope you feel all that space you created in that thoracic region and in the hips. So lots of hips and lots of heart today. These are my kind of my two favorite things to work. But we also got in that arm balance, which again is really good for the heart, but does tap us into that solar plexus a bit because it helps us build confidence when we do arm balances, and well, all kinds of things help us build confidence. So wishing everyone a fabulous day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.